Yo, what's good, man? What's good? How's everybody doing out there? Welcome in, man. Happy Wednesday, we back, baby. Yes, sir, we back. The NBA is right around. It's literally tomorrow, damn it. I think it's literally tomorrow. We back. We about to make the run towards the playoffs, man. We in this. Yes, sir, Ski. Welcome in. Yeah. Welcome in. How's everybody doing, man? How's everyone's Wednesday? Halfway through the week. We almost there, baby. Halfway through the week. We almost there. It's almost party time, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. I love this song. This song is fire. Yeah. All right, man. Let's get right into it, man. Welcome in, man. Welcome in for another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, there's no little story time today. We ain't done shit. We just been kicking it at home. It's fucking cold right now. It's cold. It's like, well, when I took Milo out earlier, it literally said feels like 1 degree outside. 1 degree. Couldn't even put an S in degrees. Right now it says it feels like it's 9. So yeah, today is chalk. You throw it in the garbage. You throw this shit away. So ain't much to talk about, really. Ain't really much to talk about. Honestly, yesterday we obviously had a day with no basketball, right? And today would have been the same thing, except they're having the makeup game with the Lakers and the Hornets, I believe it is, right? For the LA Fires or whatnot. So that will be later on for today. But today, there really isn't. There's a couple of quotes, right? There's a couple of quotes that we're going to talk about today. But today is really trying to forecast what we think the rest of the season is going to look like, right? We have contenders and we have teams that are on the verge of being contenders and trying to weed out who those teams are, what the matchups could potentially look like. Those will be some of the things that we'll talk about today. I started watching the doc on Netflix. What is it? The Olympic. What's the doc called? I want to get it right. Court of Gold, which is a Netflix documentary that is highlighting Team USA and Olympic basketball in general. Obviously, talking about Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James. So we'll be talking a little bit about that today. But like I said, today it's more of, we're trying to see what the playoffs is looking like, because that's really what I'm interested in. This is probably the best spot to start. This I think is the best spot to start. Dog. What's good, Elijah? What's good, Brody? What's good? Beanie today, that's how we feeling, dog. It's like 1 degree outside. I can't even put an S in degrees, brother. It's cold over here. I know that's probably don't mean shit to you, because it's cold for you year round, but it's cold over here right now, dog. It's cold. Excuse me. Actually, you know what I realized the other day? All of our vacations in the last couple years, we've been going to the cold. We haven't gone to anywhere warm. We've gone to Colorado twice. Obviously, New York for Christmas. Went to Chicago another year. Like, we just keep going to the cold. So apparently, we can't get away from it. But anyway, let's start right here. honestly, it's a perfect place to start talking about championship aspirations. So this was Draymond Green during the broadcast. I think this was on Sunday, talking about the Warriors' chances at a championship again. Let's take a look at it.
I'm sorry. I said I think we're going to win a championship, but I lied. We are going to win the championship.
Wow.
That's what's going to happen.
Draymond. That's good TV right there, Draymond. And the crazy thing.
All right, get your shit off.
Happen if you don't put it out there.
That's a fact. Listen, in 2022, it's like, maybe we can. Then you're like, no, we can't. Then, yes, we can. I'm telling you, because I don't believe any of these teams are that great. Boston, yes, you got to go through Boston. You got to get through the champs. But we got to get through the West first. But none of these teams scare me. Like, I don't see any team and I'm like, oh, that's the team that's going to do it. You know why you don't see that team? Because you're about to start seeing that team. Wow. It is the Warriors.
All right, so obviously Draymond being, the guy that he is, right? The super confident former champion, believing in his team. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at him putting this expectation there, right? Because let's call it what it is, right? If they weren't trying to win a championship, Jimmy Butler wouldn't have gone there. Obviously, there were a lot of comments circulating around right before All-Star break about what moves to make, what moves not to make, about are we going to look towards the future? Are we trying to win now? And clearly, with the Jimmy Butler trade, they're trying to win now. And Draymond and, Steph echoed the same things that Draymond was saying, basically saying, he's with Dre, right? Draymond is smart and he knows what he's doing. And so I guess here the real question is, are they real title contenders with Jimmy Butler a part of the team? And I'll put it this way, right? Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are a good start. Another 3-1. A lot of people want to get really excited over that, but at the same time, that's a very small sample size. And so we need to see this team for a longer stretch to really determine whether or not they'll be able to contend. Like I said, they're supposed to say this. Steph has been great the last couple of years. Still haven't made the playoffs. They are not. I'm weak. If we look at the standings right now, they're 10th. So we're talking about potentially being in the play-in game and then making a finals run. One, we've never seen it before. But two, there's a reason why you're 10th. And adding Jimmy Butler, no disrespect to Jimmy, doesn't all of a sudden make you a top 3 team in the West. And we've talked about this before, right? Teams don't know their win conditions, right? The good teams do. The bad teams don't. What I mean by that is this. Under what circumstances are you able to win basketball games? Can you win with a defensive game? Are you running teams out of the gym? Are you winning with jump shots? Are you winning with interior points? Are you getting to the free throw line? Are you playing fast break, a fast break up and down game? Are you playing half court? Can you win a one-on-one game? Can you win a high-scoring game, a low-scoring game? Can you win with Steph Curry going off? Can you win with him not going off? There are so many different ways to win a basketball game. And I just brought up Steph Curry. They didn't make the playoffs last year, right? The year before, let's take a look at it. But the point is, right? Steph Curry has been very good. And yet, him going off doesn't necessarily mean that they're winning basketball games. So, adding Jimmy Butler doesn't all of a sudden solve all of those issues. Their roster is still their roster. Once you get past the first and second option, we're struggling for a third. So, when it comes to the Golden State Warriors being legitimate title contenders, I'll have a very hard time believing that. Okay, so they lost the Western Conference semis 2022-2023. Didn't make the playoffs last year. In my opinion, they were better with the guys they had. Jimmy, a pump faker. I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that they are better before, because like I said in the beginning of the season, right? They had a lot of good role players that on a given night could potentially go off. But having to rely on whether or not they're going to show up or not, to me, was a big gamble. That's why they started off hot, and early on I said, I don't think they'll be able to sustain this, because this type of basketball is not good. The reason why I think Jimmy right now is working is for a couple of reasons. One, you get the honeymoon phase. You can't undersell this little honeymoon phase, because he's going from a situation where he felt like he wasn't wanted into a situation where he now feels like he's wanted. And then you've seen some of the interactions between him and Steph Curry. That's good enough to put positive energy into the locker room, I think, and help them get some wins. The other part in it too is, because of that, you have a motivated Jimmy Butler. He hasn't played. He hasn't been able to show his stuff, and the Miami Heat have been kind of talking shit about him. So I think you get someone who is motivated. And I get that he coasts, like you said, Elijah, and that he is a great competitor. I think this is giving him something to compete for, right? The way that whole thing worked itself out. And then when you take into account, he's not coming into a top 5, top 6, top 7 team in the West. They're 10th. So he can't afford to come in and coast. Yeah, he's trying to get his rhythm, and he's trying to get comfortable with the group, figuring out where he's going to score, yada, yada, yada. But when it comes to playing hard, being aggressive, playing defense, I think those are things that Jimmy can do, whether or not he's scoring the basketball at a high level or not, right? So I think all of those things put together, they can make a little bit of a run. The problem is it too late, too little, too late? You see, Draymond Green is guaranteeing they're going to win a championship. They're not even guaranteed in the playoffs. You guys got to get there first. And the fact that You guys are 28 and 27 for 10th in the West right now. Every game you play is meaningful and important. Every loss you take is massive. Because very quickly, the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors could flip-flop, and now they're out of the play-in tournament. And so, more so than what Draymond said and having confidence, that's all cool. Like I said, the roster is still the roster. Yes, you got Jimmy Butler. You still don't have a definitive third option. You still don't have a bench like y'all used to. It's not the same team. So, how are they going to all of a sudden go from the 10th best team in the West to a championship? That's something we've never seen before. But, yeah, do I think they got better from the trade? Yes. Is their roster that much better? No, because I think, like I said, the supporting pieces aren't quite there yet. And that's just something that they're gonna have to deal with. That's just something that they're gonna have to deal with now. There was a player, right, during all of the trade deadline stuff, all of the news. His name got brought up a lot, right? And that is Kevin Durant. And this is what he had to say about the rumor, or not even, I guess, the rumor, the fact that the Phoenix Suns were accepting calls on Kevin Durant offers. So let's take a look at this.
Warriors in any trade.
You've had a heck of a 2 weeks here. Coming back to Oakland is something that was sort of floated, and I just wanted to read you this quote from Steve Kerr. He said, I don't blame Kevin one bit for not wanting to rerun things here. He took so much for like, oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon, and then he's the finals MVP 2 years in a row, and he still gets criticized. Why would he want to face all that BS again? What do you think of that?
People talk crazy about me all the time, you know? Like, that's not the reason why I didn't want to come back. I just didn't want to get traded midway through the season. And it was nothing against
I was making sure you could read that shit.
Warriors, or I heard because I don't like Draymond. At the end of the day, I just didn't want to move, and I wanted to see it through with my team in Phoenix and see what we could do the rest of the season. So I'm glad I'm still there.
How does the second half of the season shape your outlook for even beyond this year, moving mid-season?
What the fuck? So a lot's been said about Kevin Durant, right? And I'm going to have a take on this that I think, one, a lot of people won't like, but two, a lot of people just, I'll get to it in just a second, right? So, first, the Golden State Warriors. I've said before, everything that Kevin Durant has done has been within his character, right? I pointed out the story of him moving from school to school when he was in high school for various reasons, right? He's a person, he's really a nomad. He gets over places very quickly. If something is off or something he don't fuck with, he's out of there. And I think he's gotten a lot of shit for it because he's had to live that way in front of millions of people, right? But I could feel him because I've told my friends before, if I'm in a situation where I'm not cool with it or the vibe is off or this person, whatever the case might be, I'm gonna just exit stage left, right? I don't wait for shit to get to go south. I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm just out. And time and again, he's shown that, and he's gotten a lot of flack for it. And when you're the Golden State Warriors, right? It's not like you guys traded him. it's not like he left on his own. Like that's what happened. He left on his own. And obviously there were a number of reasons as to why. But that hasn't changed. Especially when you think of the fact that Draymond Green is still there and he was a part of the reason why Kevin Durant left. So to me, it didn't even make sense that they inquired about him because he left you guys to begin with. Now, moving forward with the Phoenix Suns, right? What are we going to expect? Because they're 11th in the West right now. There's a good chance they don't make it into the playoffs this year. A good chance. And you have a Kevin Durant that's getting older. And a Phoenix Suns team who was just asking, was just taking inquiries on trades about you. So I'm sure Kevin Durant feels away. He feels blindsided. He feels backstabbed. And like we said before, if he's over a situation, he's over a situation. So I think he's going to ask to leave at the end of the year. Let me take a look at his contract. Let me see. I'm curious as to what his contract currently looks like, bro. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Kevin Durant's contract. Wow, till he's 30. Oh, so next year, next year would be his last year. Unrestricted free agent going into 26-27. If I were him, this is what I would do. Right? If I were Kevin Durant, this is what I would do. My only goal until I retire from the game of basketball, if I'm Kevin Durant, is to fulfill my villain arc. And in order to do that, I have to now fuck up history. So if I'm Kevin Durant, I fulfill my villain arc and I fuck up history. How does he do that? You request a trade this year, at the end of the year, right? From next year moving forward, if I were Kevin Durant, I'm signing 1-year deals only. I am now a sniper for hire. I am now a fucking assassin. Any championship team that wants my services, where we have a great shot, I'll take a pay cut. Shit, I don't need the money. I'll take a pay cut. We can figure the bread out some other way. But I'm taking a pay cut and I'm running the table until I'm about 40 to see if I could get if I could end up at 3 to 6 championships. That's what I would do. Because here's the reality about Kevin Durant, right? Regardless of what he's done, he's always ended up on the bad side of things. He's ended up as the villain time and again. He needs to stop fighting it. Like we talked about, he's a nomadic person by nature, right? He's a nomad by nature. And I'm assuming he's not going to settle down for real until after he finishes playing basketball. So while he's here, I think he needs to go and seek out the best type of basketball to play with the best players. Point blank, period. If that means he's on 3 different teams in the next 3 years, so be it. What if he runs the table and gets 2 or 3 championships on all those different teams? Because to the people that say Kevin Durant is not arguably a top 10 basketball player ever, if he ends up with 4 to 6 titles, you're going to have a real hard time convincing people otherwise when you take into account his skill and his talent. Because Kevin Durant has never cheated the game of basketball. Not with his work ethic, not when it came to showing up. He's never done that. So why not just go for it. Try to get 6. Fuck it. If I was an NBA player, I would do that every day, year. Or if I was in the Luka, Trae Young, Pascal situation, I would say pay me less and give me the rest of the ownership after retirement. That part too. That part too. Like Kevin Durant is 36. He has businesses outside of basketball, and obviously he has the Nike deal. He's one of the few players in the NBA that could afford like a $20 million a year pay cut. He would be fine if he took $20 million less. I know it's a lot of money, but I would assume someone like him, especially no wife, no kids, no girlfriend, he would be able to do it. And like I said, everyone already hates him. Fuck it. Not only that, right? Kevin Durant is also the only player that you can plug and play in any team, any situation, any roster. It don't matter. As long as you're not bringing him in there to be numero uno, leader, the one galvanizing. If that's not his role and he's just there to be the best basketball player he can be, it's perfect. Perfect. If I were him, I would try to screw up NBA history. I would screw it all up. I would screw every last bit of it up. And if you're a superstar player that's on the verge of it, hey, let me help you get one. Why not? Why not go to Denver? Why not take a pay cut and go to Denver? Why not take a pay cut? Go back to OKC. Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you? There's zero reason why you wouldn't. No one counts none of your titles anyway. Everyone thinks you're ass even though you're not. It wouldn't make a difference at this point. Just screw up every plan that the NBA has moving forward. That's what I would do if I was Kevin Durant. I would literally turn into an assassin for hire. But will he do that? that is a whole nother question. But if I were in his situation, I would do that. And the other part of this too, he's tried this, I'm going to be the leader, best player. He's tried it already. Hasn't worked out for him. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. You can use that against him in a debate if you want to. That's cool. But it hasn't worked out for him. But if he ends up with 4, 5, 6 rings, y'all gonna have a hard time. Y'all gonna have a hard time having debates about Kevin Durant. I promise you. Now, we gotta talk about brother. Listen, man, listen, bro. And I don't want to do this to you, dog. I don't want to do this to you. But Elijah, you already got your Walmart Kevin Durant. You already got You already got your Dollar Tree Kevin Durant, dog. Like, you're good. Why not take a pay cut and go to Toronto? Because you already got your value meal KD. You already got it. You got it already. Don't worry about it. He can go to the Knicks. He could say fuck everything. He could say fuck everything and go to Boston. You know how insane that would be? And could you imagine if their fucking front court was Drew, JB, KD, Tatum, and Porzingis? Yo, that would be insane. Derek White, 6th man of the year with Peyton Pritchard. Yo, that would be bananas. It won't happen, but it's fun to think about. It's fun to think about. Now, since we're already talking about the title, right? Let's talk about some title contenders. I guess I've spoken about it a little bit before, right? They play tonight. So let's start with the Los Angeles Lakers. Do I think that the Los Angeles Lakers will make a run for a title this year? No. They're in a similar spot where they got Luka Doncic, who's obviously a top, when healthy, is obviously a top 2-3 player in the NBA, right? But it doesn't solve the issues with the rest of their roster. They don't have a great bench. Dalton Knecht might be checked out indefinitely. They might have to trade that guy by the end of the season. Austin Reeves is coming along, but they're now lacking bigs. They're lacking a lot still. And when it comes to winning a title, I don't think they're ready. That being said, would I want to play the Los Angeles Lakers in the playoffs? No. If I'm any team in the West outside of the Denver Nuggets, OKC maybe. I wouldn't even be super confident if I'm OKC. But if I'm any other team, I'm looking at that LA Lakers matchup and I'm saying, fuck. Because you're going to have to take out Luka and LeBron. They're not just going to lay down. They're not just going to lay down and let you pass. And outside of the Denver Nuggets, I'm not confident that your stars will consistently match the output of Luka and LeBron James, even with their deficiencies. You know, the weird thing about the Western Conference right now is we have a lot of young teams. OKC is young. Memphis is also pretty young. The Rockets are young. You know, and then you have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They don't have as much experience as they think they should. Let me see. I don't think they're ready, but I think the East matchups are better. OKC, I think, gives them a tougher time. I think, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I do think both conferences, it's going to be fun to watch how these matchups shake out. You know, because you're looking at potentially OKC versus Dallas Mavericks round one. Potentially. You get a healthy Anthony Davis. You get Kyrie Irving on his bullshit. That's not an easy out for the Thunder. If if Anthony Edwards slides, right, you get that matchup, right? OKC versus Minnesota. And if not, if this stays the same, we could potentially have a John Morant versus Anthony Edwards round 1 matchup between the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. So I do think we have some really fun matchups that could shake out. If the Rockets draw the Lakers, I'm going to be tight. Like, if I'm the Rockets, I'm going to be tight. If I draw the Lakers round 1, we could play anybody else. Anyone else. We could play the Clippers. We could play anyone else. If they draw the Lakers, that's tough. And then I think Denver might be the toughest out in the West. They might be the toughest out in the West. Especially when you think of a Chet Holmgren that's missed like 30-some games, right? Maybe 30-some games. He's going to have to take on, well, actually, they'll probably have Hartenstein guard Jokic. I guess that works out a lot better. But still, like, you got to deal with Jokic, Jamal Murray, who's been on a tear lately. Didn't OKC get squad whipped by Luka last year? The Mavs very much could get OKC. I mean, here's the problem with the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? I've said this before. Shea, I think he can hold his own against anyone, right? Jalen Williams, I think, is very good and is getting better. Who is that third guy to offset the other team's third option? Right? Because if you're the Denver Nuggets, for example, that's Russell Westbrook or Michael Porter Jr. Both guys are extremely experienced. One is a champion, and Russ has no off switch. And you're expecting Chet Holmgren to kind of be ready for that and to try to take that, third option role. And we'll see how that works out. And when you go down the list, a lot of these teams don't have a definitive third option. A lot of them don't, including the Lakers. I just think Luka and LeBron are, if they just fucking pass the ball back and forth the whole time, I think you'll still have a hard time. But every other team is kind of searching for that consistent third option player. And the Denver Nuggets have two guys that really, they both kind of accept that role, just in a different way, right? Russ is the facilitator, defender. Michael Porter Jr. is creating offense constantly, right? So I think Denver is the toughest out. Yeah, I think oddly enough, this comes down to like fucking two teams in the West, man. Like, who would I choose, man? Is it gonna be Denver OKC? Y'all think, man, in the West, coming out the West, Denver OKC? I think that might be the matchup. Let's take a look at the East real quick, and we'll get back to the West. When you look at the Eastern Conference, right, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers 1, Boston Celtics 2. Oh no, you're right. I'm tweaking. You're right. Austin Reeves, the third option, is a very good third option. No, you're not lying. No. I stand corrected. They do have a definitive third option. No, you are 100% right. Yeah. No, you're right. That's my bad. I completely forgot about that white boy. That boy cold, bro. He cold. Yeah, Austin Reeves is nice. Let's see here. The Eastern Conference. I think Milwaukee is kind of like the Lakers. It's funny because they're in the same exact spot. They're both fifth. If the Milwaukee Bucks are healthy, that's a big if right now. If the Milwaukee Bucks are healthy, if you're Cleveland, if you're the Pacers, Detroit, I mean, none of these teams want to see Milwaukee, and I know, I have zero, I mean zero faith in Doc Rivers, but I don't think any of these guys want to see Giannis in the playoffs. They gonna get fucking bullied. Yeah, Milwaukee could play spoiler in the Eastern Conference. I saw a clip where Stephen A was talking about Cleveland, right? He's like, they might be legit. They've been really good this year, right? I'm not trying to take that away from them at all. Donovan Mitchell to me is proven, right? He's had very good playoff series. He's an extremely good player in this league. We got to see more out of Darius Garland. And Evan Mobley took a step this year, right? Not a step. Let's say he took a leap this year in the right direction of turning into the player that we kind of want him to be. But the reality is he's not the guy that says, where when you see him on his team, you're like, oh, he puts them over the top. He's not Kristaps Porzingis going on to the Boston Celtics, where as soon as we saw that, oh, shit, they're in there. He's the Kristaps Porzingis when we were critiquing Kristaps. When we were saying, this is what you got to do to get better. This is what you got to do to improve. That's where Evan Mobley is on his timeline. So, if he's your third option against the Boston Celtics, and his matchup is Kristaps Porzingis, that's tough. When you look at the New York Knicks, I mean, he's going to have to counter Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG. Those are the guys that at any given night could be the third option. Josh Hart, I mean, I got no words for Josh Hart. That guy's incredible. You look at the Bucks, Kyle Kuzma is now their third option. Definitive third option. When you just look down the line, very few teams, like I said, have a definitive third option that they can go to that's consistent. And so in the Eastern Conference, in my mind right now, because I think genuinely, I think we have too much for the Milwaukee Bucks. It wouldn't be the prettiest matchup, but assuming we get a Mitchell Robinson in there to kind of help Cat out, take some fouls away from Cat, you know, Giannis is going to have a hard time trying to defend all those motherfuckers, right? So I give the edge to the New York Knicks, and I think I give us the edge over every other team in the East, honestly. So it should be the Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how I see this shaking out. And like I said, I already had Boston going into the finals again, so that's going to make it tough for my New York Knicks. I'm not even going to say it right now because fuck that. But that's how I see the playoffs shaking out, man. There's a lot of young teams in both conferences. Ooh, Cleveland, Atlanta, 1-8 would be fun to watch. That might be a lot of fun to watch in the first round. Orlando, Boston. I would want to see that, and I would have my fingers crossed that Paolo Banchero is healthy, right? Not even that to say that the Orlando would beat the Boston Celtics. I just want to see Paolo Banchero go off against one of the more popular teams to raise his popularity. New York, Detroit, yeah, we beat them. We get them the fuck out of here. Indiana, Milwaukee. If I'm Indiana, I'm tight. That's a shit matchup to draw. If you get the Milwaukee Bucks, you're in a down year, right? You're in a down year. Didn't they beat them in the playoffs last year? Yes, they did. Yep. Indiana beat them last year. So you got to think, if the Pacers and the Bucks match up again in the first round, the Bucks are fucking pissed off. They lost last year. They weren't healthy. You get to run it back against a Pacers team that has struggled a lot this year. Yeah, that's not looking good for Indiana. So, I mean, both, like I said, I like both matchups. The matchup in both conferences. I think there's good matchups. There's good storylines going into it. Excuse me. This guy just said, wait, hold on. I'm trying to read what you just said. Would we be a bracket that would be considered comp for Boston? What would? Are you talking we as in the number 13th in the East Toronto Raptors we? Is that what you're talking about? 17 and 38 Toronto Raptors? Is that what we're talking about? Because I'm sure that's not what we're talking about. I'm not gonna lie, I do think that Boston is beatable this year, though. Last year they looked kind of unstoppable. This year they look pretty beatable. People are calling them bored. I don't know if it's quite that. But yeah. Oh. I wanted to touch on this before I get going, actually, because like I told y'all earlier, I started watching what is it? Court of Gold, I believe, right? Court of Gold. Oh, then what was you talking about? Yeah, that's what you get for clowning my New York Knicks, motherfucker. That's what you get. What would be a bracket that would be comp for Boston? Like what teams? Or what teams compare for them? I'm confused. What are you talking about? Like I think the Knicks actually match up. Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, are you talking about like former teams, former championship teams? Let me see. It is hard to get a second chip. That's why a lot of teams don't go back to back. Like we've talked about how as good as Tim Duncan and the Spurs were, never won back to back championships, right? What would be a bracket that would be comp for Boston? I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I'm not gonna lie. This Boston Celtics team, top to bottom, is really fucking good. like legit top to bottom. These guys are really, really good. When you talk about every position, they're damn near too deep at every position. And guys that could play too. Their starting lineup is as good as anybody. You got two legit superstar level, all NBA level guys. I don't know. This team. That's why I think it's so frustrating to watch them sometimes, because we expect so much out of the team. When you see the names on the paper, we see how well they play. No, like, who could they play this year so they would have a cakewalk? A cakewalk. I don't think it's a cakewalk this year. I'm not gonna lie to you, because even the Magic, right? They lost all of their players. Maybe there's a chance that they get Franz Wagner back, but Orlando is still solid defensively. They just had a rough stretch where they lost all of their players, but Boston is still gonna have to take out a Paolo Banchero that's probably gonna be hungry to play. Do I think they beat up the Orlando Magic? Probably, but is it gonna be as easy as that matchup looks? No. Who would they end up playing? Wouldn't, bro. I suck at typing. You're chilling. I know I kind of dismissed the Detroit Pistons right there. But you get a Cade Cunningham that's confident. I think Detroit, and then all those guys are young. It's not an easy out. Trae Young on the Atlanta Hawks. I don't think, outside of injuries, right? Outside of injuries, I don't think this will be an easy run to get to the NBA Finals this year. If anything, right? If the Boston Celtics are able to go back to back, if this season will go down as maybe one of their most impressive seasons, because coming off of last year's championship, the Jason Tatum Olympic experience / Jaylen Brown non-Olympic experience, right? Coming into the year with high expectations and struggling, a lot of criticism on their style of play. Cleveland has outplayed them by the record. Yeah, so I think at the end of the season, when you look at the entire year, I think if the Boston Celtics are able to somehow win this, they might have to go through a Cleveland Cavaliers or a New York Knicks or a Milwaukee Bucks. And I think if those are some of the matchups that they get, it definitely won't be as easy, but the story of the year is going to be really, really impactful in their storybook. Is that what's going on over there? Is that what's going on? No, dismiss the Pistons. They are an easy out. Fans over here are too cocky. Motherfuckers have even made the playoffs yet, and they talking heavy. I'm weak. That's how it is over there? That's how it is? Well, like I said, you still got to compete against Cade Cunningham. I think there are stars throughout these teams that you got to take them guys out still, right? You still got to take them out. If the Miami Heat can somehow sneak in and you get Tyler Hero playing like how he's been playing, and you get Bam to play up, even they wouldn't be the easiest out either. So, yeah, I don't think this is a cakewalk this year at all. I think there's some really good matchups. There's good players from 1 to 10 in each conference, pretty much. Pretty much in each conference, there's good players 1 through 10. Maybe not the best teams, but good players. The last thing I wanted to touch on, because like I said, I was watching Court of Gold. I'm like an episode and a half in. I think it's 4, 5, 6 episodes, I think, right? So I'm 1.5 episodes in. And last week we were talking about, or on Monday, sorry, we were talking about the face of the NBA, right? In my mind, it's funny how it's still not Jayson Tatum. When you think about team success, individual success, the skill and the talent is there, the look is there, he says all the right things, he wants to be the best player. I mean, he's pretty much said it. It's odd to me that Tatum has not already been, that they haven't already kind of passed the torch to him as the next guy up. Meaning Bron, Steph, KD, and the NBA. They had an opportunity to do it this past summer, right? They had a real opportunity this past summer to essentially knight him in, right? Like, you know, when they do the knight, when they knight you and they put the sword on each shoulder, right? And they knight you into the shit. They had an opportunity to do that this summer, but they did not. Bam, you mean Aja's boyfriend? That who you talking about? Hey, if he get a boyfriend buff, you never know. You never know. Maybe Aja show him some footwork, some post footwork. I don't know. Maybe Aja been helping him. Who knows? But I think they really missed an opportunity this year to transition Jayson Tatum into the face of the league. With these older guys phasing out, he's on one of the biggest, most historic teams in the league, the Boston Celtics, right? And so it's very telling to me that they haven't done so. I'm watching Court of Gold, right? And I get it. I get it. The whole theme, the whole idea behind this Olympic experience this past summer was revolving around the legends. LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, right? When I tell you I'm an episode and a half in, and Jayson Tatum hasn't said one word yet. Not one word. He hasn't had a second of camera time in an episode and a half. To me, told me everything that I needed to know about how the NBA feels about Jayson Tatum. For whatever reason, they don't want to hand it to him. I don't know if it's a LeBron thing because Jayson Tatum was such an outward Kobe fan, not a LeBron. I don't know what the case is. But an episode and a half. They put Anthony Edwards in there. Hell, they even put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander there. The motherfucker's not even American. And Jayson Tatum was yet to have any screen time. That to me tells you everything that you need to know. And you know, clearly the NBA is trying to go in a different direction, right? Clearly, that's not the direction that they're trying to head into. But if you ask me from the outside looking in, he checks off a lot of the boxes. Tatum is boring. He's the broccoli of broccoli. Hello, what's good? What's good, Big Bruce? What's good, Big Brucey? But here's the funny thing, though, right? A part of being the face of the NBA, at least over the last 10 years, which has been LeBron, kind of Kevin Durant and Steph Curry also, right? Some of it has been the hate. Like LeBron and Kevin Durant, as much as LeBron has been celebrated, LeBron and Kevin Durant are also some of the more hated players that we have in the league. And Tatum fits that bill, right? There's a lot of closeted Jayson Tatum fans. It's no surprise that his jersey sales are at the top of the league. So there's a disconnect for some reason, right? And so like I said, I thought it was very telling. It was very, very telling that Jason Tatum got no screen time in an episode and a half. I'll let y'all know how long it takes for them to interview him. They might not interview him. They might not. Steve Kerr didn't even play him, so they might not interview him at all. We'll see. I'll let y'all know. Though when I watch it. It's because JT is too perfect. Kawhi not boring. Neither is Marshawn Lynch or Jokic. Okay, but is that enough to get a player into top 10 in jersey sales year in and year out? I don't know. I just feel like he checks off a lot of boxes. He's young enough. This made me think when Ben Simmons was coming up. When Ben Simmons was coming up, he was one of the few athletes, one of the few players that I could remember LeBron was like working out with. Right? So I guess to me back then, I thought LeBron was he was going to maybe bring Ben Simmons under his wing and kind of hand him the baton. But obviously we saw what happened to Ben Simmons, obviously. But maybe that was it. Like Ben played more like LeBron or whatnot. So I don't know what the case might have been. But yeah, there's no clear-cut face to the league. Like I said, Anthony Edwards already said, not me. So it's going to be fucking Ja or Wemby. Celtics fans are his fans. Tatum is not too perfect. He's boring. He has no charisma. He is just plain. I guess. I don't know. I get it. I will say, like when I see a Tatum interview, I don't immediately click on it. Right? I will say that. But like when it comes to all these other players, like Anthony Edwards or a Ja or even a Braun or a Steph, whether you like them or not, you're gonna click on their content. The dunk on Braun. The dunk on Braun. He had another one recently too. He dunked all over somebody. I forgot who it was. He dunked all over somebody. I think he needs to start dunking on everyone. Like, I think I you know what I was just talking about like Kevin Durant in the villain role. Tatum needs to start talking shit to everyone, dunking on everyone, pushing everybody. Like, he needs to realize he all of 6'10". He needs to start realizing that he is all of 6'10" and starts bullying all of these people. Right? He'll be hard to deny if they win a second ring too, though. So we'll see what happens with that, man. But besides that, man, that's all I got for today. Does he? Let's see. Are we getting messy now? Oh, yeah. Oh, he allegedly has 2 kids with 2 baby mamas. Oh, yeah, I'm forgetting. Obviously, there's the Deuce's mom. Obviously, he had Deuce's mom, and then he just had a kid with No, he definitely has a lot of highlights. Is he as electric as a Steph Curry? Or like a Kyrie Irving? Probably not. But like I said, he needs to start dunking on everybody and start pushing motherfuckers around and bullying people. And I think we'll see a whole different light. But for now, that's going to do it for me, man. I'm going to get up out of here. There's like one game tonight. I'll probably tune in a little bit. I'll peep what Luka doing if he even plays tonight. I know LeBron not playing, but that's going to do it for me for now, man. I will see y'all on Friday. You have a great Wednesday, great Thursday. I'll see y'all back here on Friday. Hopefully we're back to some basketball and shit already. So we don't have to talk about these motherfucking hypotheticals, but I'm going to get right. We going to get. See, that's foul. That's foul, Bruce. That's foul. Yo, if a motherfucker ever start talking shit to me, I'm going to throw out the Bruce Merrill Pokeball and just have you cook them. I'm going to just have you cook them because you be cooking everybody. I respect it, though. I respect it. You cook everyone. In all fairness, you cook literally everyone. So I appreciate that. Stand on business, bro. Stand on business. But yo, you need to get a new keyboard or some shit, Elijah, because Jason Jadam is not a real player, dog. I promise you he's not a real player. Oh, man, but that's going to do it for me, man. I'll see y'all later. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the fucking best, man. The community is growing, man. The community is growing. I love y'all. Y'all are awesome. But that's going to do it for me for now, man. I appreciate y'all. Before I get up out of here, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. It really helped the channel out. We finna take this to the moon, as y'all already know. And we not going to stop, man. We not going to stop. We not going to stop till my ass end up on ESPN talking shit. But we'll see what happens, man. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate the love. I'll see y'all later. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me. And I appreciate y'all for that. Peace out, y'all. I'll see y'all later, man. Peace, 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 peace. Stay